What if everything you're chasing, success, money, pleasure, recognition, was never meant to satisfy you? What if the wisest man who ever lived already tried it all and came back with a warning? Thousands of years ago, King Solomon looked at life honestly, without filters, without illusions. And his conclusion was shocking. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. But what does that really mean? And why does this ancient book still feel uncomfortably accurate today? Stay with me. Because Ecclesiastes doesn't just talk about life, it exposes it. Solomon had everything most people dream of: wealth beyond measure, wisdom beyond comparison, power, pleasure, achievement. If anyone could figure out the meaning of life, it was him. Yet instead of writing a book about success, he wrote a book about limits. Limits of money, limits of pleasure, limits of control. Ecclesiastes is not comfortable reading. It doesn't flatter human ambition. It asks the questions we avoid. And the first one is this: if life is so full of effort, why does it feel so empty sometimes? Solomon says something that sounds simple, but changes everything. There is a time for everything. A time to build, a time to break, a time to speak, a time to be silent. But here's the uncomfortable truth. We don't choose the seasons. We plan, we hurry, we worry. And still, life unfolds on its own schedule. Have you ever tried to force something that simply wasn't ready? A relationship, a breakthrough, a dream. What if the delay wasn't punishment, but preparation? Ecclesiastes teaches us that peace begins when we stop fighting time and start trusting the one who holds it. Solomon observed something strange about success. The race is not always to the swift, nor the battle to the strong. Talent doesn't guarantee victory. Hard work doesn't guarantee reward. That feels unfair, doesn't it? So why keep trying? Because faithfulness is not about outcomes. It's about obedience. Solomon says, sow in the morning, sow in the evening. Why? Because you don't control which seed will grow. But God does. So let me ask you, are you waiting for perfect conditions before you act? Or are you willing to move forward even when the future feels uncertain? Wisdom, Solomon says, is better than money, better than strength, better than weapons. And yet, one small mistake can ruin much good. A single careless word, a single compromise, a single moment of pride. Have you noticed how fragile reputations are? How quickly years of effort can collapse? Ecclesiastes whispers a quiet warning. Guard the small things. Character is built in private but destroyed in public. So ask yourself, what areas of your life need wisdom, not speed? What tools need sharpening before you keep swinging? Then Solomon does something unexpected. He talks about death, not to depress us, but to awaken us. The dust returns to the earth, and the spirit returns to God. Life is short, painfully short. So why do we live like we have forever? Solomon says true joy isn't found in endless striving, but in receiving life as a gift, to eat, to work, to rest, to rejoice. Not because life is perfect, but because God is present. What if joy isn't something you chase, but something you recognize? After all the searching, all the experiments, all the questions, Solomon reaches one final conclusion. Fear God and keep His commandments. This is the whole duty of man. Not fame, not wealth, not control. Reverence, trust, obedience. Because when God is removed from the center, everything else becomes vapor. But when God is honored, even the simplest life becomes meaningful. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who's searching for meaning. Subscribe for more biblical reflections and timeless wisdom. And let me know in the comments what part of Ecclesiastes challenges you the most. Remember, life is a gift, time is sacred, and wisdom begins with God. Thank you for watching.